We're live. So cool. Stay. What's up, internet? I'm Dylan. This is my 2015 Porsche Cayenne S, and the goal of the video I'm filming today is I wanted to show you guys how I took the sides of my car and turned them from this to this. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna film with my dad an in-depth kind of how-to about what we went through in the process of cutting the fender wells and opening up the wheel wells of this car. Side note, we already went and washed it, but here's a little clip of that.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. The sun's in my heart and I'm ready for love. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain, I've a smile on my face. I'll walk down the lane with a happy refrain, just singing, singing in the rain.
Back here. Introducing my father, this is Chad. I'm going to be doing a lot of filming and he's going to be doing a lot of the tooling because one of us knows how to use a camera. So I'm in my car right now, but before you go and jack the car up, if you have the optional air suspension, you got to turn the car on and disable it. To do that, you're just going to take this and you're going to hold it up for like 10 seconds. Until it will eventually blink like that, and you'll get that up in the dash. Okay, so with our air suspension disabled and the lugs broken on all the wheels, we're going to jack the car up, take the wheels off, and then we're going to get into actually taking out the fender liners. Our studio light, the garage shop light, bungeed to the hand truck. So we already pulled all of these T25s out, and I've got them all in a little bucket, but then you're gonna have like one or two of these as well, which you're gonna need a 10mm for. Oh, we missed 2. Back there. In the back wheel well right now, and you're gonna have to pull this little clip right here, which we're gonna use a flathead screw for, and then halfway up there's gonna be, this is a T20 Torx bit, and then a little bit higher up you're gonna have this right here is a 10 millimeter, so you're gonna have to pull all 3 of those. That's that. And this one up here is a 12 millimeter.
Alright, so now we're getting into pulling the trim off of the car, and we're going to be using a heat gun in all of this and just very slowly heating it up to loosen the adhesive behind it and begin to pull it off of the vehicle.
This trim off, you don't want to pull up like that way because it'll just cause it to tear. You want to pull kind of down and out at like 45, and it should almost all come off as a single ribbon.
I'm going to heat gun just to loosen up the adhesive under this a little bit.
Okay, so now that the trim is off of the actual car, we're kind of at a stopping point here where we're gonna start actually cutting back the material.
Next thing we're gonna focus on is getting this whole black piece out of the way. I'm gonna make a mark here just to remind me of where the metal is at relatively on the back of the car. And then we're gonna go ahead and take a saw. We're gonna hand cut from here down. Turn around, cut upward. Next, we're gonna pull these 2 T25s. It's gonna release the rear bumper here. Once we remove it away, now we can go back in and finish hand cutting all the rest of the slots. Now to get this last cut, we're gonna fold this over. We've already cut everything above and below. We're gonna fold it, and we're gonna make this cut up the back side of the last tab. It just fell off on my head. All right, with the plastic off, now you're gonna come back in starting in the center. Make your hand cuts both directions. You can clean these up later with a belt sander or a grinder.
Now at this point, we've cut off those plastic bits on both the rear and the front wheel wells. So the next spot that we're going to go into is removing all of the rocker underneath the vehicle.
All right, now we're gonna pop these interior rocker covers to get access to the last rocker panel component. It's split in two pieces, so you can release this first one. It just pops out. Now we move up to the front door, same thing. Once you get it to release, right here.
We're going to be taking off all of these, which are all 10 millimeters. One more screw right underneath this, so pop this off just like this, and then right in there you got one more 10 mil. Once that's off, the entire rocker should just drop down.
Okay, so we're back from a short break after we got all the trim off, and I guess I'll explain to you now why the car looks so different.
Here we have this rear door open, and we covered that up with a sheet because we're going to start grinding on all of this metal back here, and we wanted to make sure that there was no sparks getting into the car, but I also wanted the door out so that we didn't have it sitting right on that edge. Ahead and started taping up these edges just as we're getting ready to cut. So this photo is the fender well marked up before we got to cutting it all, and if you pause it here, you'll be able to see exactly where we drew our cut lines. And I want to make a note that the blue Expo marker is the material that we are keeping.
All right, as Dylan mentioned, on the front fender, we've got this all marked up, we've got it masked, we're ready to cut, but let's quick explain what we're doing here. The blue sections we've left, that's what we're gonna try and leave to bend later. And we're leaving these in so that we have something to attach a inner liner or something to. When we get down here, we've left a couple of them in because this is more in the area of where our mud flap's gonna be, so we wanna make sure that we leave some good metal to attach to, especially this point right here where we've got the two tack welds that are in there. This one down here, you'll note that it just says bend. We're gonna make a single cut here, leave the tab so we can roll it over and bend this piece in. So we're not gonna cut this bottom section. We're just gonna split it from there up to here. So we'll go ahead and get going on these cuts. You'll also see the back red line in here, and that's right at the roll of the fender, so that we can just cut that and make a nice clean separation.
That was like We're going to run this same process on the back now. It's just going to be a bit more tedious because we're dealing with steel.
Okay, so the front one was actually the easier one in terms of marking it out. On the back one, what we need to do is, because this is steel and it's a 2-part pinch weld, we need to mark every one of the pinch welds because we don't want to cut through one of them. And we need to trace this line that comes off of the door well all the way back and through, and you can pinch your fingers together and see kind of where that's at for you. It tracks pretty close to the top of these indentations. We're gonna go ahead and mark that because that's gonna be the top of our cut lines and also basically our fold line. It's gonna leave about just short of a 1/4 inch underneath this wheel well line. Since we're gonna paint all this black, once I know where that line's at, I'm just gonna go ahead and start marking it. Then I mark all my pinch welds, because that'll tell me where I'm gonna make my cuts. Then finally, to help hold the fender out, we're gonna just gently pop that loose right there. It's just on clips. I'm gonna take a spray paint can lid, tuck it back in there to help hold it off. We'll use that and then just mark these last spot welds. All right, now last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go through and we're gonna mark out all of our cut lines on both sides of a spot weld, and then any ribbons that makes.
Done with the grinding on the wheel wells, and now we are moving into cleaning up the car and the space a little bit before we move on to our next step. We've got all of our cuts done and pretty much wrapped up, and we're getting some cleaning stuff so we can go in and brush this all out and prep it, because we're going to coat parts of the underside before we actually go into bending all of this back.
Heavy duty degreaser. Start coating some of the areas that we're going to bend over so that we can spray the back side of them with some undercoating before we fold them.
So why we're cleaning this in here, it's like 2 degrees outside in Idaho right now, so we have to work with what we've got, and we're staying in the garage so all of our cleaning stuff doesn't freeze.
brief intermission because we accidentally broke something, but we're doing great.
Yeah. Frame piece all bent in and nice and ground out, so we're gonna go ahead and coat that a little bit. Ignore the washer fluid tank that's just hanging there because we accidentally cut that, but this is the completed front fender well, all cut, ground out, and bent out, and now we're gonna move on to the rear. So by no means is this a necessary step, but we have some leftover heat shield from when we cut out the rear bumper and the original muffler from this car. So I'm gonna be taking this and trying to get that to fit in up in here as a little bit of a shield over this exposed pipe. Update on the heat shield thing. Okay, at this point we're done with all the grinding. We've got this wheel well opened up pretty much, and we've started already masking off because we're prepping right now to paint this all and clean it up.
So basically the goal of what I'm doing right now is we're taking this heat gun and we're heating up these last two tabs so that we can fold them back into the fender well to keep the back side of the fender secured to the vehicle. So we literally just softened them up and took a screw and kind of stretched it backwards while it was soft because of the heat, and then ran that screw in and let it reharden in that position. And then we're going to repeat that same process for the other hole as well. You can see we just set that screw in there and kind of tip it until it catches the hole, and then slowly thread it in while that plastic is still soft, and then we got it to bite. Alright, so now we've got the rubberized undercoating on this rear fender well, and we elected to leave our front fender well pretty much alone because we don't know what we're going to do liners yet, and we're going to have mud flaps going back into it. But that kind of reaches the ending point of this project. All we have left to do is put the tires back on, all the trim back on, and button everything back up.
Dry for a little bit and we got all the paper off. This is what our edge is looking like after the fact. So we're going to start putting everything back together now.
Jack points in the front and the back on. We went ahead and put the outer rocker cover on, and we just have it test sitting in here because we're going to come in and mark it to make cuts so that it matches with our new cuts in the fender wells. Okay, with that on, we want to take the rubber door trim and put that back in. Okay, so the trim's back on, the rubberized undercoating is on. We've already got everything buttoned up back together. We're gonna throw the wheels back on this, maybe throw the roof rack on it and get this thing out in the snow.
No, it's you gotta lift and pop on.
so wheels are back on. We're gonna now re-engage the air suspension, drop the car down, throw the roof rack on, and then we're all wrapped up. Rig again, you're gonna need to turn the car on and hold this up for 10 seconds so that the air suspension will re-engage. Just like that. Should show. Side of the car, right?
Ballpark. Yeah.
Room is what I'm worried about.
Gotcha. So kind of like flush it.
Or another.
All right, so if you've made it this far in the video, I want to just say a huge thank you, especially to my 18 existing subscribers. You guys are dope. So this is my first actual YouTube video that I'm putting out on the internet. So please, in the comments, let me know what you guys think of the video, what you think we can improve on. I'm really looking forward to making more content with this car in the future. Thanks. Also, it wouldn't be a YouTube video if I didn't say this, but if you like the content, like and subscribe.